My name is Aleja Adeboale, and it's new season to sports, of course, on our band Radio Scope and the best TV right now, which is the Queen's Talk TV on Amazon TV, and of course, like I said, the band Radio Scope. And this show is proudly sponsored by Bukenzo Glam, the best way to get your glam all across the world. As a matter of fact, they can ship to you wherever you are in the whole of the world. It's always good to have my co-host back with me. It's lonely at the top, like they say. Last week I was here all by myself. Welcome back, Olawale, back to the show, and of course, our boxing expert Sheyi. I would like you guys to introduce yourself. Go ahead, Olawale. Let's start with Olawale to introduce himself. I think Olawale is frozen for a sec there. Sheyi, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hello, sport fans. It's good to be back on the show with Adeboale, and I'm very sure you've been enjoying the running to the end of the season throughout the whole Europe. What an eventful weekend! Borussia Dortmund doing an Arsenal, and of course, Everton surviving at the death. And also one funny statistics or one funny story over the weekend. Since what's his name, Coman turned professional since the age of 16 or 17, he has been winning the league every season. I think the young deserves the Guinness Book.
Yeah, of course.
So that
I'm pretty sure he's there.
That means if you want to win the league, just sign
Chris Coman. Basically. Alright, go ahead.
Yeah, good day, sporting fans around the world. Welcome to the show. It's good to be back after like a month sabbatical. We have a lot to discuss here. Playoff basketball is getting
crazy as the day runs by. Yeah.
What's happened and what's next for some certain things. Welcome to the show once again.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Olawale. Like I said, my name is Aleja Adeboale, and I'm the host of the show. And of course, we have Olawale and Sheyi Ajayi with me today. Olawale, of course, you can reach him. His handle is at Wale X Manu on Twitter, and of course we have Sheyi as well that we have at Sheyi Clef on Instagram. These guys know their audience. Trust me, if you follow them, you will enjoy whatever it is that you think about when it comes to sports. And when I say sports, that's football, soccer, American football, sometimes rugby, as a matter of fact, Formula One, boxing, and a little bit of wrestling. All right, we'll start off with the NBA today, and of course, in the history of the NBA, it has never happened before. 150 times to go 3 games down and come back to win. The Utah Jazz, the Pistons, and the Denver Nuggets have tried it before, winning 3 consecutive games back to back, but none of them ever had the home court advantage that Celtics has right now. And last night was a terrible day for the Miami Heat. I think it shows a gulf of class between the Celtics and the Miami Heat, not being able to close the game. And I'm pointing accusing fingers at Jimmy Butler. It was no show last night. Bam Adebayo was no show last night as well. As I was talking, I think they were 7 for 35 or 7 for 31, and it's terrible when you meet guys like the Celtics. And of course, people will clamor that JT too had a bad game last night, and Derrick White came up, stole the show. Marcus Smart did his part. Jaylen Brown did his part as well. It was a close game at the end of the day, but I feel the destiny of Miami Heat was in their hands, and they served it to the Celtics on the platter of gold. Controversy surrounding the timing as well. It was I believe it was 2 seconds and 2.21 seconds before that last throw of the game, but they turned it out to be 3 seconds, which gave the Celtics that winner by Derek White. Derek White was terrific last night, Ali. Do you agree with me that the Miami Heat, number one, were no show, number two, they gave the Celtics the lifeline that they should have given to Celtic, particularly when they were defending home court advantage? Yeah, go ahead, Olari.
When the Miami going into this series, going into the playoff, the Miami Heat were the 8th seed. They defeated the Milwaukee Bucks and the New York Knicks en route to the conference final. Yeah. Now, they are playing against probably the best team in terms of the players, the core players. They are playing against probably the best team in the NBA. Yeah, if you look at both defensive ratings and offensive ratings, the Celtics are top 5 in both ends. And when you see a team that is top 5 in both defensive rating and offensive rating, that tells you that that's a very good squad. We all know the Celtics, we all know what they could do, but our fears has always been their inability to turn up when it mattered most. Sometimes we don't understand why they just don't show up. We saw a glimpse of this against Atlanta in the first round when the game went to game 6, when it was unnecessary to go to 6. We had the glimpse of that against the Philadelphia 76ers. They were almost out before they snatched that game 6 in Philadelphia and closing it out in game 7
in Boston.
Now, in terms of talent, Miami Heat out for didn't show up in 3 games. But immediately they won game 4. Something keeps telling me that if there is a team that could come back, and because I was very sure they were going to win game 5 and they won game 5. But sticking with yesterday's game, I think both teams tried their best to throw the game away. The Celtics were in control for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
The Celtics were in control for 3 quarters, but at every point in time, they couldn't build on their lead. I think the highest lead in that game was 11 points. And anytime the Celtics tried to establish a 5, 6, 8 point to extend their lead, they either turned the ball over, they either
multiple times
in terms of shot, what do you call it? Shot selection.
They are shooting.
And for Miami Heat, you all know that all they need to do is to have a close game, going to the 4th quarter or going to the latter stages of the match, and which was what they eventually got. The Boston Celtics are one of the worst team when it comes 2 games they lost at home. It was very close, right on to the last 3-4 minutes of the games.
Yeah,
it was only game 3 that was a blowout. The 2 games they've won so far in this series have been a blowout victory. This was the only time they won a game that was very close. I think they have one of the worst records when it comes to clutch time performance. I think they are 5 to 6 in playoffs when it comes to games decided by less than 5 points going into the last 5 minutes of the game. That's to show you about their decision making towards the end of the game is very poor. Yesterday was the only time that they were able to do that. There was a lot of controversy about the timing and all of that. But I think eventually they got lucky that Derek White was at the right place at the right time. Miami was able to defend them from the zone, because that shot from Marcus Smart was a very bad shot. Miami got what they wanted, but eventually the ball bounced on the right side of Derek White. Going to the game,
Derek White was terrific. Game 7.
It was terrific. It was one of the. I think that close. That the way the game ended. It's one of the most. Let me say. I think the kind of. I've never seen such an
performance
to an NBA game. It's very dramatic. Now, the Boston Celtics should be the favorite going to game 7, but again, you can't trust them. That's the problem. Yesterday, they should have won that game more comfortably, and they were almost out of the.
But the problem is, Olale is if Jimmy is not showing up in Game 7, there's no way. Because if Jimmy showed up last night and he had more than the 24 points that he had, the Celtics would have won that match. No way on earth. If Jimmy was at 40 points, the Celtics would have won that match last night.
What you have to consider is this: what it takes Jimmy to pull up a 40-point game consecutively in that Miami team, it's a whole lot. It's very difficult for you to replicate such performance.
Anyways, for me,
on paper, they have a better team than you. On paper, the Celtics were the better. They are supposed to be the better team. That means it will take a lot for you to get the energy, the kind of, as in the mental stress it will take you to be able to get a 40-point
to be able to get across the line.
It's not easy for you to defeat such teams in consecutive games.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, and I hope, realistically, I hope the Celtics qualifies. Last week I was saying it's over for the Celtics. It was going to be a sweep and all, but here we are, 3-3, Game 7. Celtic must win it, and the reason why I want the Celtics to win it is we need an NBA final that is tantalizing. If it's the Heat against the Denver Nuggets, and Nikola Jokic is not dead, Jamal Murray is playing the way he's playing right now, it's going to be a sweep against the Miami Heat. I hope not. So I hope the Celtics, they are the best team in terms of, like Olale said, they are the best team in terms of quality on paper. Playing is different, but on paper they look like the best team. So we hope, and I strongly hope that they'll be able to repeat that. And just to show a face of Jimmy, I call him Jimmy Butler right now. And when I mean Butler, it's not the name Butler. I mean Jimmy the Butler. He has bottled it right now. At a point, we thought Jimmy is going to be the new Michael Jordan for this particular series. But Jimmy has really upset. He really upsetted me. Last night, I felt strongly about Jimmy last night, but Jimmy did not do me that favor that I needed him to do me. And Olale, Charles Barkley, you know how I feel about Charles Barkley. I think he's a clickbait guy. I think he talks too much for someone that has just only one Olympic medal to his name, and it's unfair holding a guy that is 38 years old, that has a tendon injury, and his 28th year in the NBA, holding him to ISC because he was blown out by the Denver Nuggets. By far, and I repeat it, by far, no player is as good as Nikola Jokic in the league. No player, not Joel Embiid, not Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nobody is as good as Nikola in that league. As of today, I don't know about the next tomorrow, but as of today, nobody. And Nikola will blow out anybody. Do you think what Charles Barkley said about LeBron being swept and being blown out, do you think it's proportionate and realistically fair to LeBron?
Well, I think the truth is this. I don't agree with that statement because I think the Lakers have overachieved this year, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
This is a team that started. Yeah. This is a team that started the league on, I think, 3-10 record.
2-10.
2-10. And I think 13 games, as at last 13 games of the season, they were like 12th on the log. For them to even make the playoffs, I think it's enough. Then beating about 2 seed, the Grizzlies. Of course, the Grizzlies has their own issues, and knocking out the Warriors. For me, I think they probably overachieved, and we probably now were expecting too much from them. For someone who is 38 year old, I don't think we've probably seen any 38-year-old like this. Still being expected to do something. When most of these superstars are probably at their 34, 35, 36, they are at a different stage of their career, not being considered like a top 10 or a top 12 guy.
Top 10, exactly, in the league.
In the league. So for me, from that point of view, I don't think I agree with that. I think there is a limit at which he could do. In the game 4, what he tried to do in game 4 was to take the game over at the beginning and see if they can establish a big
good
lead.
lead.
And you know, the psychological part of it, I'm feeling that probably Denver will just feel like switch up and say, okay, we got a chance to close the game out in game 5. I think that was the intention, but unfortunately, Denver didn't give up despite despite going behind like by 15 points at the end of the second quarter. They opened the third quarter like the team on fire, and
nobody, and I repeat it.
It was a close game.
Apart from,
and I think kudos to the Lakers. Kudos to the Lakers. In as much as it was a sweep, all the 4 games were very close. To an probably game 1 was a bit of was not really that close, because I think the Denver Nuggets were like ahead with like 18 points before they lost their, what do you call it?
Yeah.
But game 2, 3, 4 were relatively, game 1 to 4 were pretty close, which the Lakers could have won, but unfortunately they lost. I think that comment was unnecessary. I don't think it's something that is sustainable for somebody who is 38-year-old, for him to carry
38 years old.
Yeah, like I've always said,
and they're supposed to have a superstar in AD.
Success. LeBron will not be the best player in that.
Exactly, and unfortunately, LeBron
AD had his limitations during this series, especially his jump shots. They're not really falling.
AD was the Russell. The only person that can actually say, okay, did pretty well, apart from LeBron, would be Austin Reeves. And maybe Hachimura in game 3, you know. But let's leave the Lakers for that. I just wanted your opinion about what Charles said. I don't like Charles. It's a known fact. I don't like the way he talks for someone that has not achieved anything in his life. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry to say that, but for someone that is not a great achiever, if it was Scott Pippen talking now, Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson, you know, or a Kobe, God rest his soul, are talking. These are achievers.
For me, I don't even think it's about what the person has achieved. I think it's about the context, about what you're actually saying. I think there was no point in expecting a 38-year-old when we've not even. There was not like, what will I say? We don't have any 38-year-old in which we can make reference to, like, okay, when Michael Jordan was 38, this was what
was at 38. Yeah, exactly.
So for the fact that he was even trying to do this, it's even an abnormality. So it was a very
abnormality, exactly. As a matter of fact,
like I've said, if the Lakers were going to win this championship, LeBron will not be the best player on the court. If LeBron will be the best player in the Lakers team, there's no way for them to win.
Not against a team that Denver Nuggets anyways. And of course, Malone said the Lakers have gone fishing. Nobody should ask him questions about the Lakers right now. They should focus about the Denver Nuggets. Just before we go, and I will move to boxing, Olale, who do you think are going to be playing the final? Last week I goofed when I said it's going to be the Miami Heat against the Denver Nuggets. Right now, I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my beats. I sincerely hope, for the sake of basketball, that it's going to be Celtics against the Denver Nuggets. And if that happens, what pendulum, or how is your pendulum swinging, and to whose side? Olali. I think I lost Olali for there for a second. Sheya, I'm going to come to you now. And
I think it's good. I think I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I think the final is going to be Denver versus Celtics. I think Celtics are favourite to win tomorrow's game. But if they keep the game close, getting to the fourth quarter, I will not be surprised if the Miami were able to snatch a victory out, because Miami have already won 2 games in Boston. So tells you that they can't win that. But if Celtic Nuggets final will be very interesting. Nikola Jokic will be the best player on the court, but I still think the Celtics has the better core. They have the better core. But the same question we'll be asking about the Celtics has always been: are they going to which kind of Celtics team are they going to show up?
Celtics is going
Are
to
they
show
going to
up.
play right?
Yeah.
Are they going to?
So,
As long as
so,
they
so,
are getting,
so
unless
basically,
the Celtics,
if you have to base it on the percentage, what percentage will you give to the Celtics and what percentage will you give to the Nuggets?
the reason why I would choose the Nuggets is this: I expect at least 5 out of those games to be very close, and I think I trust the Nuggets in closing out the game better than Celtics.
Better than Celtics. Okay, all right, perfect. Shay, I'm going to come to you right now, and it's the shock victory by Ben Smith over Lawrence Okoli. Lawrence Okoli owns all the belts in the featherweight division of boxing, and it was beaten fair and square. No second shots about that. Were you surprised, Shay? Shay, are you with me?
Yes. Okay. So Lawrence Okoli has been the WBO cruiserweight champion for a while now, and tends to be one of the big guns that we're looking at. Probably in the near future, could also leave the cruiserweight to come into the heavyweight, and of course with his yeah, because it's in the cruiserweight and it's actually a big shot there. But on the night, it was a big shock. Although people that are close to both fighters won't be that much surprised, because these two boxers are friends over the years. They've trained under the same coach. They've been sparring partners, which also shows that there's possibility of both of them understanding the
weaknesses,
the positive and the negative of each other's boxing abilities, and that played out on the night. I think Lawrence Okoli started better on the night, but lost it around the 4th round when he got a knockdown. And that took an entire, turnaround to the bout on the night. Going forward, he actually lost control of the bout entirely. Also, at the end of the day, you can see he got knocked down 3 times. He got 2 points deducted in 2 different rounds. And there is no way you are going to have that and not lose on the scorecards. So at the end of at the end of the day, I think he lost to somebody that quite understands him and capitalized on his weakness. I think that's what happened. Although there's an opportunity for him to have a rematch, I think you should take that. Yes, if you take that shot, work better this time around and regain his belt. Hopefully that happens.
All right. Spence versus Crawford. That's going to happen sometime in July. What are we looking forward to in that? Is it going to be Spence Jr.?
Well, Debo, to be sincere, I think this is going to be the second biggest fight of the year after Gervonta Davis and Brian Garcia. Yes, and I think it's going to be a big showdown in the welterweight division. A lot of people have been waiting for this because they believe both boxers are actually in their prime, and it's just going to be better to see them fight this time around. Nobody wants to see the Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather when Pacquiao was actually going out of. So this particular bout is something we are looking out for. They are both in their prime, and we are talking about a bout that brings together the 4 belts, talking about undisputed battle. And to be sincere, for me, from my corner here, I will say it's only 50-50, but I like to give Errol Spence 51. And for me, the only reason the reason I'll give Spence 51 and Terence Crawford 49 is that I think they are both strong boxers. They have different patterns. I think Crawford will want to fight from afar, but the moment he allows Spence to come on the inside, it's going to be devastating for Terence Crawford. Spence has also showed over the years that he can withstand many punches because he believes he's going to outcome you at the end of the day. And that shows something about that type of boxer. They've both beaten one of the greats also, Sean Porter. Spence, actually, Sean Porter has a similar type of fighting skills that Porter has. So, and Spence actually outboxed Porter.
Outboxing.
A different pattern was without Terence Crawford was able to defeat Sean Porter. But for me, in terms of being able to receive the punches and still triumph at the end of the day, Spence have it over Crawford.
Spence have it. All right, perfect. The analyst has spoken, the oracle has spoken, and of course, I believe the oracle. Since she said Spence, Olali, I don't know about you, but I'm following Spence as well. Olali, are you following Spence as well? I know you are very stubborn. You might say you are not following Spence like that. Olali, you are not following Spence. I know.
I'm not.
I know. Don't worry. We'll wait down on it before the match. We'll go on a short break right now. When we come back, we'll be talking about the guy that has won the Jama Bundesliga 12 times. The pharmacy. We'll be talking about the pharmacy all across Europe. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.